This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sob like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. It's your boy, it's your boy, it's your boy, ladies and gentlemen. And the Knicks are them dudes tonight. They killed tonight. Chris, does this make you feel better? Does this make you feel better about coming back and rejoining the team? Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks get a big win. The first double-digit win in this series over the Indiana Pacers to stay alive in the series, 111-94. Ladies and gentlemen, big win. Big win. Big win tonight. You know what I mean? And they did everything that they're supposed to do to win this basketball game. They played incredible defense. I mean, they played aggressive defense for 48 minutes. When it felt like maybe the Pacers were going to try to make a run in the fourth quarter, they stifled it. They got the loose ball. They did everything that they were supposed to do to win this game, and they did it. Ladies and gentlemen, it was almost like a redo of game number 1. Except this time, they finished it. Like the team is learning. You dig what I'm saying? It was like a redo of game 1, ladies and gentlemen. And just a great game from the Knicks. 111-94. It goes back to Indiana on Saturday. We're going to win in Indiana and bring it back to New York for game 7. It's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Trust it. Just trust it. We're bringing it back for game 7. I got my man Tony Crow coming in really quick in a second. And, of course, we're going to open up the phone call, the phone lines, and all of that. But while we do that, go check out nbkfam.app, ladies and gentlemen. Become a member today. Tony Crow, my brother, my man, my mellow, my man, what's popping with you? How are you feeling?
This is what I was asking for, Sim.
You said it last night. Me and Tony talked for about 3 hours last night. Word is born. We talked for about 3 hours talking about the game. We tried to stay away from the off season. We tried to stay focused on this game, but it was hard. But Tony said, well, I need a blowout. He said, I need something to let me know that we got something. And Tony, you got the blowout tonight. What's good, bro?
That's what this was it, man. And again, the momentum shifts. The pressure shifts. You know what I mean? The guys who jumped ship, you know what I mean? It was hard to believe. Like you said, it was hard not to talk about the offseason, but we tried to focus on winning this series.
Yes, sir.
I'm home the next 2 games, so we winning. I've been saying that too. So, let's talk about it. Let's break it down. But we got this one.
We did everything that we needed to do to win this game tonight. You know what I'm saying?
And they didn't have to leave the whole game.
They didn't. Exactly.
The Knicks had to leave the whole game.
Knicks, from beginning to the end, the Knicks led in this basketball game. You know what I'm saying? We played with desperation. We played with aggression. Right? We played like we knew our lives were on the line because it was. And that's how we played. And I see no reason why we wouldn't come out and play the same way in game 6. You know what I'm saying? We played this game the same way we played game 1 with that type of desperation, except we closed it out. Now, I feel like it's a do-over. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a do-over. We did this in this game, held a double-digit lead for most of the game. This time, in the first game, we did the same thing. but we didn't pull it out. We let it slip. Tonight, we did it and we kept it. We didn't let it slide. And the momentum is going to carry over in the game too.
This is the first time they was under 100 points in the playoffs.
First time under 100.
When we kept them to 100, that was their lowest scoring game of the playoffs.
Right.
So we won this with defense, man. You know what I mean? Like
we won the game with defense.
We still had our mistakes. We still had our efficiencies. They still used Hacker Mitch. You know what I mean? Like every strategy that they utilized that was effective,
right?
We overcame that, and it didn't affect us.
Right.
This game.
Yeah. One thing that I really like about the way that we played defense is we stayed in. And this is going to be a pause moment, but whatever. We stayed in Halliburton's guts. We stayed in him. We didn't let him move. Right? We stayed right there, played up tight. You know what I mean? Fought over those screens. You know, when they tried to get him the ball. You know what I mean? And if you can negate Halliburton, which you know Rick Carlisle is going to he's going to find a way to get Halliburton going. Next game, you know, he's going to adjust to it. But if we can negate Halliburton, we take off such a large portion of their offense. Right? A large portion of their offense, we take it away because he's the engine. He's the one that makes it go. He's the one that makes it hum. He's the one that makes it move. He makes the ball move. Landry Shamet, I thought, did a really, really good job playing him tight when he was in the game. Right? You know, Mikal Bridges, I'm up in the air about how he played defense against him. I did like that he stayed tight to him even when when Halliburton was off the ball. Bridges stayed tight to him. You know, when he's on the ball, I didn't think he played the best defense. Halliburton has the ability to get past him for whatever reason. Shamet played him really, really good tonight when he was on him, I thought. You know, Halliburton tonight, 8 points, 6 assists. Shot 28% from the field, 80% from the free throw line. The way Halliburton goes, the way the Pacers go.
So, and I was just, you know, in that 3-hour conversation, I was talking about what a great game Halliburton had.
Right.
And to back it up, you know what I mean, with one of his, I would bet his worst performance of the playoffs.
Has to be.
Yeah, we did our job. We did our job with him tonight.
Yeah, I mean the Knicks did their job with all of the Pacers tonight. When Benedict Mathurin is your leading scorer, you're in trouble.
Well, he's the only one that we did our job with, and this is coming off him having his best game of the series last game, and then doubling down on that. I always thought he would be the X factor. Overall, he hasn't been a factor this series, but he's finding his way. So he would be the only guy that, you know what I mean, moving forward, let's get him back to where he started the series.
Yeah.
As opposed to the last two games.
I mean, the thing is, I would rather him be the leading scorer.
100%.
Than Pascal Siakam or Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I mean? He had 23 points tonight and 9 rebounds. Pascal Siakam tonight, 15 points. 5 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, the Knicks did their job defensively. Halliburton had 8 points, as mentioned. Ben Shepherd, 8 points. Nembhard, 6 points. Aaron Naismith had 3 points. 1 for 8 from the field.
One person in double digits? One person in double digits?
Three.
Oh.
Benedict had 23. Obi Toppin had 11. And Pascal Siakam had 15.
But one starter in double digits.
One starter in double digits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like those odds.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's going to be tough to keep these guys, on this type of scoring like this, scoring this low, and their starters not in double digits. I'm not expecting that to happen in game 2, but if we can play the type of defense that we played tonight
Mm-hmm.
and play with the type of desperation that we played with tonight, we come out of there with a win. You know what I mean? Just a really good game from the New York Knicks tonight. They did everything that they needed to do. They were talking about, who the only team to beat the Knicks at the Garden in a game, to eliminate the Knicks at the Garden 3 times is the Pacers and this and that and this and that. The Knicks have the right mindset. They're not even going one game. Brunson is talking 1 quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
1 quarter.
Good stuff, sir. I peeped that too.
Right? 1 quarter at a time.
Yeah, win the first quarter. That's how he ended today's interview.
And tonight, the Knicks won the first quarter 27-23. They won the second quarter 29-22. They dominated the third quarter for the most, well, I guess not dominated, but the lead got bigger because they kept winning the quarters, 34-28. And then in the fourth quarter, the Knicks, it was tied 21-21. Obviously, in the fourth quarter, the benches, the benches were playing,
The white flag was waved.
Yeah. But the Knicks focused quarter after quarter. Now, that pressure really does shift to Indiana. It shifts to the Pacers. They might come out a little bit tight in game 2. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks, obviously there's pressure because it's game 7. I mean, because it's they want to push it to a game 7. You know what I mean? But their backs are already against the wall.
Mm-hmm. And they just dodged the most embarrassing bullet that I think they could have faced by losing 3 playoff games at home in a row. So
Right.
The fact that they dodged that bullet, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I expect them to win the next one as well. But if they didn't, I don't think it's as bad as if they lost this one tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the Knicks had guys playing well all over the board tonight. Jalen Brunson, did his normal thing, 32 points from the tip, from the beginning of the game to the end. 32 points tonight for Jalen Brunson, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Did have 3 turnovers. He shot 66% from the field. He shot 57% from the 3-point line tonight, 4 for 4 from the free throw line.
And they had him off ball early in the game.
They had him off ball a little earlier in the game.
Which was a great adjustment.
Yep. Karl Anthony Towns came up big again tonight. 24 points, 13 rebounds tonight for Karl Anthony Towns. Right, 3 assists, 1 steal. He did have 4 turnovers. 11 points for OG Anunoby, 12 points, 5 assists for Mikal Bridges. Josh Hart, which a lot of people are upset with Josh Hart because, he's doing some dumb things, this, that, and the third. Still had 12 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. He did have 3 turnovers. He shot 50% from the field, 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. He was 4 for 6 from the free throw line. I see, I'm looking at Twitter, and there's a lot of people like, oh, my gosh, get Josh Hart out the game. Why is he still in the game? And this and that and this and that. So some people were upset with Josh Hart, but he made plays. He makes mistakes. We know that. And he can frustrate you. No doubt about it.
What I liked about him tonight, though, is he attacked the basket.
Attacked the basket
when
in
he's in transition, we talked about that. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, attack the rim as opposed to trying to make these outlet passes where you're not that great at.
Mm-hmm.
Your percentages are very high when you going to the rim. You know what I mean? So do that. He did that a few times tonight.
Yeah. He just has to figure out those times to get himself under control. You know what I'm saying? I know, Kings just said Josh Hart came in and the lead dropped to 10. Can you necessarily blame it on Josh Hart that the lead dropped to 10? I don't know. But clearly his positives outweigh the negatives out there on the floor. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that I ask about Josh Hart is that he takes care of the ball. He doesn't try to make crazy passes and try to do too much. Just do what you do. You know what I'm saying? And you know, sometimes he's being asked to have the ball so that Brunson can be off the ball. That's really not his game, though. He's being asked to do that. I'm going to tell you why I think he's being asked to do that. To me, it's because Bridges is a little scary with the ball. He frustrates me because I feel like he's afraid of contact right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets in the paint and he's like, nah, don't touch me. I'm gonna fade away, or I'm gonna get out the paint. You know what I mean? Like even on rebounds and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like he's afraid of contact, and because it seems like he's kind of afraid of contact, you don't want him being the guy to help facilitate the offense, because if defenses get uptight and start, with the contact, we don't know what he's going to do with the ball. At least Josh Hart will bump back. He'll push back. You know what I'm saying? He'll get you out the way. This is, I ain't even talk about, we could get to that later. And, what else we need. Let's talk about how to win Game 6. I don't care about what else we need right now. We just got to fight to win Game 6. You muted, Tony.
On the flip side, son, putting Josh Hart on the ball not only gets Brunson off the ball, which I think helps him, and he's more aggressive than Mikal, but it also makes Josh Hart's defender defend.
Yeah, for sure.
Which takes away another advantage of theirs when he's doesn't have the ball. So it's really the best option when he's on the floor, especially with Brunson or with Cat.
Yeah, it's like I used to say with Elfrid Payton. And people were mad because he had the ball in his hands. And I would say, well, he can't shoot. So you spread the floor by having the ball in his hands, because the defender has to now be on him, right? So that means that defender can't drop into the paint. Now you got other shooters out there on the floor. It's the same thing with Josh Hart. He can knock down a three. He's not the best three-point shooter, right? But when he has the ball, just like you said, the defender has to be up on him. You know what I'm saying? And now you can do some other things out there on the floor. All of these teams are playing, sagging defense against the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Sagging deep into the paint. There's no more, there's no defensive 3 seconds and all that stuff, barely. You know what I mean? So, teams are just sagging in the paint, which makes it hard for the Knicks to penetrate. But they're figuring some things out and how to do it.
Or just helping off everything.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit surprised. Tibbs stayed with the starting lineup. I think part of it is, if I snatch it away after 2 games, we don't grow with it, even during the playoffs. And also, I show desperation. You know what I'm saying? Let me just stick with my decision. And let the team, grow together. I can, Mitch only played 20 minutes tonight. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they started doing the hack of Mitch.
I thought his 20 minutes were great minutes. I thought another thing that came to my mind while watching the game was, as much as a lot of us said, oh, it looks like Indiana figured it out and it's not to our advantage. It was really too early to say that too, being the third game that is being used and it's still new to the team. So the team is still figuring it out. Right. You know what I mean? So to say it was not working, or Indiana knew how to deal with it, I thought was premature as well, because the Knicks were still learning it in real time.
Yeah, now that's true. I think in Game 4 they definitely ran against it though. They seen it and they said, I think the Knicks did a better job of getting back on defense, not allowing the pace. Like after we scored, not allowing them to get back and score. I think they did a better job of stifling Halliburton, because he's the guy that makes them run. He's the guy that really pushes that ball up the floor. Jason Benjamin, thank you for the super chat. He said those Shamet/Wright minutes were huge. Play them. They were definitely huge. You know what I mean? They played. They played. Dalen Wright played 10 minutes. Shamet played 14 minutes. They played some big minutes in that first half. You know what I'm saying? They played, like I said, I thought Shamet did a great job when he was defending Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I mean? I thought he did a great job. Let me get to a phone call.
Real quick, Sam. Another detriment with Cat picking up them fouls. That's what made them able to utilize the Hackimich and force Tibbs to play pressure. You know what I mean? Just to point out the importance of him and his foul trouble, because we couldn't bring him back in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
but
shout out to Precious for filling in and having some good minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. 5 minutes and 36 seconds for Precious tonight. Caller, you're live. Name me where you're from, please.
Mike from North Carolina. What's going on, gentlemen? Tony Crow, what you know?
Let's go with you, bro.
Hey, what up, family?
Yeah, man. I didn't see the game tonight. Just caught the highlights on the NBA app. I'm looking at the box score and the summary, and I've noticed within the last two games, Tibbs is going to his bench, to my surprise. Bottom line, these guys, the team, the Knicks, they just look tired, honestly. The fact that Tibbs is going to his bench, I think that's a positive. Do you think going forward, regardless whether the series ends or we advance to the finals, do you feel Tibbs will go to his bench more? Because, again, Shamet, McBride, David Wright got in. Achua got in. You think Tibbs finally, quote-unquote, seen the light, per se?
Well, I'm going to say this. If the Knicks get past the Indiana Pacers, they're going to use this blueprint to play against the OKC Thunder, because I'm going to say the Pacers are a knockoff of the Thunder. You know what I'm saying? So, you're going to have to use this blueprint against the Thunder. Now, if you're talking about next year, I think Tibbs does what Tibbs does.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just I was going to say, I still believe that had we been fully healthy to start the season, our roster would have been deeper. Our rotation would have been deeper.
I agree with that too.
So I don't know. Like maybe next year it will be deeper, depending on what the roster actually is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. You know what I'm saying? But Tibbs is gonna find his favorite 9, and that's who he's gonna rock with.
Yeah. I was going to say, because Tibbs is one of those old school coaches, because I know you guys remember back in the day, even Celtics, Lakers, especially in the finals, those coaches, Fitch or KC and Riley, they always went 8 to 9 deep. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, golly, I mean, at some point, someone's got to, really utilize and give your starters a good rest. And now today, with a 15-man roster, I'm going to be honest, gentlemen, I would really reserve my 5s for the first quarter, or at least rotate them out to where they play so many minutes within the third and fourth quarters. But when the fourth quarter comes, all my 5 of my starters, you got fit. At what point does manpower truly becomes relevant? I understand and get its matchups, especially on the defensive end, but dude, you got 15 guys, man. You can make time for someone.
Well, listen, the last 3 games they've used the bench more than Indiana has. Over the last 3 games, they've used the bench more than Indiana has. The Knicks are 2-1 over the last 3 games against Indiana, right? Yeah, 2-1 over the last 3 games. I mean, if you look at it, regardless, of the bench, this, that, and the third, let's not discount the fact that game 1 is it took Knicks time to recover from game 1. You know what I'm saying? Even when they won that first game in Indiana. It took them time to recover from game one. Hopefully, they have recovered from game one. You know what I'm saying? If the Knicks would have won game one, this series looks very different right now. You know what I'm saying? And, the Knicks are up 3-2, or maybe even or maybe even is different than that. You know what I mean? If the Knicks get that win, that loss did a lot to the team and the confidence. I don't care what no one says. It did a lot to the team and the confidence, and they had to recover from that. You know what I mean?
Sam, it took me a couple of days to recover from that loss. So
yeah, what I'm saying, that that's tough. But here we are, though. You know what I'm saying? Here we are. We're using these guys. Precious really was used out of necessity. You know what I mean? So it probably would have been a 9-man rotation if it weren't for Mitch being in foul trouble. Yeah. Or the hack of Mitch, Karl Anthony Towns being in foul trouble and the hack of Mitch. You know what I'm saying? We'll see, because you don't even know if these guys, if Shamet, Day'Ron Wright, if they're going to be here next year.
Oh, all right. Check out the situation with
for the rest of these playoffs, though.
And
yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, but for the rest of these playoffs, you're playing against two teams that have very similar styles of play. Tibbs is the kind of guy that sticks with his blueprints, sticks with his habits, and this is what he's developed with the Pacers. OKC plays the same style, so if the Knicks are able to get past the Pacers, you'd probably see the same thing.
Concerning the center spot, how do you like the situation with Towns and Robinson? Matter of fact, so Robinson will be with the team next year. I forgot his contract situation.
Yeah, he should be with the team next year.
Okay, cool. Because I like that. I like having two bigs. And I'm sure you gentlemen know that's a hell of a luxury, because it makes me think back to the old days when the Knicks did have Ewing and Cartwright, or Cartwright and Webster. I mean, that was real nice in how they got utilized. I mean, and to a degree, I'm surprised when Holtzman was coaching and had Webster and Cartwright, how that really did work out. And Cartwright back then was getting 20 plus a game, if you guys recall. But I like what we got. And again, my only big thing is the fatigue and how Tibbs, again, utilizes his bench. Because, man, these guys look – I just see fatigue. I really do.
Maybe. I'm going to say this. From game one, I mean, just with the style, with the way that we play, I mean, Brunson looks fatigued every time he's on the floor to me. From game one, just his style of play. He always looks fatigued. I don't think he is, but his style of play looks like that.
And then you think. Well, I'm thinking long term. I mean, overall for his career, I mean, all this wear and tear. All these guys get, all NBA players, a certain degree of wear and tear, cool and fine. But oh man, sometimes I cringe. I really do.
Yeah. Well, they're not playing as much tonight. I mean, they're still playing. Pretty heavy minutes. They have a few less. They're still playing pretty heavy minutes. You know what I mean? I think it was game 2. When I look at these minutes, they're basically the same as they were in game 2, except for Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges had 45 minutes that game. Everybody else was, around 34 or 35. The difference is Deuce McBride had 28 minutes in that game, and Shamet and Wright probably they might not have had any minutes in that game. Game 2, I think it was. So
Mr. Crow, do I sound crazy, or what's your take, man?
As far as what? Which part?
The fatigue aspect.
Nah, I think we're way past that. I think we're way past that in the playoffs. And as of right now, Tibbs has made, I think, the proper adjustments either way. I don't think guys was fatigued, but I thought Tibbs underutilizing the bench doesn't necessarily prepare them for the moment. Shout out to them for, stepping up in the moment.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, hey, call me crazy, but that's what one man's opinion over here. But going forward, with good game. Now let's see if we can shut up the crowd in Indiana. As always, Sim, thank you for letting me talk on your program.
Appreciate you, bro.
Always polished. And Mr. Crow, I'm gonna start calling you cuz, as I said before. You really sound like my cousin, and he lives in the Bronx, man. And you both bald. You're not that far. You're not that far from my cousin. I'm telling you, man. Because the very first time I heard you, I was like, Renee? And then when I called in, I was able to get on. I was like, oh, wow, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, man, you're not that far. Hey, thanks again, Sim.
Appreciate you, Mike.
All the best. I hope I can call Monday, man. Let's go, Knicks.
Let's go.
Saturday.
Let's do it.
Saturday.
We play Saturday.
Monday too.
We
but
play Saturday. Yeah.
Now I'm old, man. I'm pushing 60. But I can still wear my Senate authentic New York Knicks customized from Jerry Cosby. Who knows about Jerry Cosby?
Okay. Wow.
Talk to me.
Wow.
Listen,
that's what's up.
I got to do my research, and I ain't that young.
Shoot. Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not familiar, man. So I got to do my research.
You familiar?
I've heard of the name, but I haven't seen him. But I'm familiar with the name.
Oh, dude. All right. Well, then I'll call back and give a little research. Basically, they were the mecca of sports apparel. Back, I'll put it like this. Think of any old school style, NBA, maybe football, but definitely NBA, any style, and you could have gotten the home, road, warm-up jacket, pants, and short shorts. I got so many New York Knicks short shorts, your eyeballs will pop out your skull.
Wow. Okay. That's what's up.
I got the Bernard King, the New York old Knicks style with the numbers on the top and the name on the bottom, dude. Wow. Now, I'm not bragging, but what I got is dope. Pretty nice.
That's dope. That's pretty dope. Mike, I appreciate you, man.
Thanks again. I hope to talk to you guys on Saturday.
Let's do it. Saturday. We getting this win on Saturday, man. We getting this win tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks dominated this basketball game tonight. You know what I mean? And it's got to. Their confidence has to be at an all-time high. And, I mean, the Knicks had a 22-point lead. It was the largest lead for the Knicks tonight. They out-rebounded the Pacers 45-40. 22 assists tonight for the Knicks, 20 for the Pacers. 11 steals for the Knicks, 10 for the Pacers. 3 blocks for the Knicks, 7 for the Pacers. Still 15 turnovers for the Knicks, but the Pacers had 20. The Knicks created turnovers with their pressure.
And capitalized off them. In our wins, that has been crucial.
Right.
In our losses, we didn't capitalize off the ones we even got.
Exactly. The Knicks shot 49.4% from the field. The Pacers 40.5%. The Knicks only 27% from the three-point line, but the Pacers only 33%. The Knicks only shot 68% from the free throw line, and the Pacers 82.8%. The Knicks 60 points in the paint to the Pacers 34. Second chance points, the Knicks 13, the Pacers 7, and the Pacers win fast break points 16-15. But the Knicks played the type of game. This is the hard part. To win, the Knicks got to keep the score like this. Right? When that game where it was 130 something, both of those games, in game one, it ended up being 130 something to whatever. The Knicks lost that one, not because the score was high, but because they crumbled.
Our probability increases the lower the score.
Yeah.
Right. Like we can still win a high scoring game, but the probability drops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here's the thing.
This team.
Here's the thing. If the refs are going to allow the Knicks to play aggressive, it helps the Knicks. See, over the past couple of games, the Pacers have been allowed to bump and bump and bump and bump and bump. Be aggressive on Brunson, this and that, and the Knicks struggled with it. Tonight, the Knicks were allowed to be the aggressor. without a million fouls being called against them. You know what I mean? And it definitely benefited the Knicks because now you're able to slow down that high speed, high octane offense. You know what I mean? They can slow it down. Sean said Game 6 is Game 7 for the Indiana Pacers. No way in hell they want to come back to New York for Game 7. No way in hell. No, they do not. If they come back to New York for Game 7, I don't know if they stand a chance. I ain't even going to front. I think the stakes are going to be high. Their hearts are going to be pumping out of their chest. I don't know if they can handle that, to be honest with you. You're saying the crowd is going to be crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know if they can. I don't know. They don't want that. I don't think they want. They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? They want to try to end it in Game 6. For the first time in this series, they've got to match the Knicks' aggression, and the Knicks still see they have to make pretend it's Game 7. The Knicks don't have to make pretend. They know it's win or go home. You know what I mean? The Pacers have to make pretend. You know, but in their subconscious, they still know we got a Game 7. The Knicks know we don't win. There's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So the Knicks still have that upper hand. Now it's just down to one game. The Knicks just got to win one game. Now we're on an even playing field. One quarter at a time. One quarter at a time. And, you know, you come back to Madison Square Garden, and that will be, let's put it like this. This is the first time we had a freaking Game 5 Eastern Conference playoff game in 25 years. Imagine a Game 7? An Eastern Conference playoff game? Game 7? It's gonna be nuts. You know what I mean? It's gonna be, but I don't even, you know, we got to get Game 6. You know what I mean? Kevin said, I believe the Pacers relaxed to end it at home, but you don't take those chances. I don't know if they, maybe. I don't know if any team would purposely try to bring it home to play, you know, a Game 7 because you just don't take those chances. I can't see a team doing that on purpose. I mean, you know, in the NBA, you got to take wins when you can get them because God forbid somebody gets hurt. Now what? You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, I don't know. Got another caller. Caller, you're live. Name and where you're from, please.
Oh, this is Make It Make Sense from South Carolina.
Make it make sense. What's popping with you, brother?
NC in the building today.
Word up.
I've just been going through the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. What's up, Tony? What's going on, Sam? You know, it's a lot of little strange activity going on in the atmosphere lately. You know, when they win a close one, it's kind of like, you know, the Knicks really just got beat. Right. You know, when we win a close one, it's, oh, they blew that game.
Right.
So to me, I feel foolishness just, and I don't understand why Richard Jefferson is even calling the games for us and let Reggie go out west. Like, I don't understand, like, the whole atmosphere that they already, it's almost like they tried to rig the table. And now I think they find themselves in a situation they didn't want to be in. But I don't know. I observed something today that I found interesting that I was watching, and I remember it made me flash back to last year's playoffs when we was kind of down a few men. Precious really, to me, during that series, played Siakam better than OG. And for some reason, it's like Precious doesn't respect Siakam. Like, it's kind of like he's not afraid of him. Like, it's like he's not his boy. you know, because I guess Precious was the guy that was like looking for the outside in back then. So him and OG is kind of cool. Precious don't got no love for him.
Yeah.
And when Precious came in, I kept saying, yo, Precious, get on him, get on him. And every time Precious got on him, Siakam didn't do none of that stuff he do to the rest of them. I think really Precious needs to play in Game 6. I hope Tibbs seen it, because I don't think Siakam wants to play against Precious at all. And maybe I'm crazy. I know Precious ain't no superstar, but some players just are a bad match for other players. Because Precious is long, Precious will hustle, and he's not the greatest player. And I'm not trying to put him up like that. I hope y'all understand that.
Now we get it.
Just what I was watching in his little stint against Siakam really didn't do nothing when it came to him and Precious one-on-one. Like nothing. Like Precious just came in like, he's my guy. The only way I'm gonna get off of him is I have no choice. But when I can find him again, I'm going to. It's like almost like Precious seeks him out on the court. You know, and I'm just hoping, because I've been these basically first 6 games, I've been like, why isn't Precious playing? Like, and I like the fact Shaman's playing, and I like the fact that Delonte's playing. I think we should have been doing this over the last 82 games of the regular season, and that's okay because we can't go back there now. But I think plug and play, we need to make sure Precious gets him a little 15 minutes, and if he's doing well, 20 in Game 6, because it just seems like Precious is not afraid of this dude, like, whatsoever. You know, and it ain't because he's better than him. It's just because maybe he knows something about his tendencies that OG don't pay attention to.
Right. Okay.
Because it's like almost like OG forgets defense when he plays him. I'm just being real, and I love me some OG. Got his jersey and all that. That's my guy. But it just seems like when it comes to even last year, when I go back and I remember, I'm like, damn, Precious helped us stretch that jump to 7 games.
Yeah.
He really did. Like Precious stepped up. Like, he surprised me. He had me saying, what was Toronto thinking? You know, like, I really couldn't even understand why Toronto traded him with OG. I was like, they didn't see no potential in this guy. This guy's out here doing everything it takes to try to win. I just hope that the Knicks just continue to play the way they played tonight. Because, like you said, y'all brought up a good point. We don't have a tomorrow.
Right.
We only have what's in front of us. So, and I think tonight they played like we only have what's in front of us.
Right.
But I believe we could have been doing that, bro.
And
it's going to be a series that'll kill me if we lose it. Because in my heart of hearts, they're not more talented than us.
And see, that's the thing about,
I just feel that.
you know, that's the thing about this team. You know, we've seen it a lot, especially in these playoffs. You know, they respond when their back is against the wall.
Right.
And I was thinking earlier, right? I was like, this series has been the series. When you look at the series in its entirety, being down 3-1, it's almost like being down to 20 versus Boston twice, and once down 14, being down to 20 against Indiana and coming back. It's being down 3-1 is like being down 20. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably how they view it too. Like, hey, we've been down. It's like being down 20. We just got to do this one step at a time. You know, you hate that they have to have their backs against the wall in order to respond. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully they learn. And, here's the thing too. This is what's crazy. We're in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's a 3-2 series. We got a chance to bring it back to New York for Game 7. And this is something that the team has to learn. They have to learn how to come out with this aggression. Imagine when they do learn it. And they just bring that every night.
Yeah, because, like, I'm watching, like, even, like, when you bring in Delonte and you bring in Shaman, I'm watching Brunson and them on the bench. And Brunson and them, they got a look on their face like, wow, I knew that. Like, I'm not shocked that we're shutting them down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because those dudes are they're playing their behinds off on defense, bro. Like, I'm watching Shamit go down low with Siakam. Again, he has that little precious effect to me. Like, he don't give him more respect than he feels he deserves. And he plays him tough regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Shamit made a lot of key plays, man. A lot of key plays since he's just been getting a little bit of burn. You know, and I just think, man, we got the right pieces for right now. I can talk about the OKC because they've been playing like out of this world type basketball. But I just know that even if you did get past Indiana, you don't have a chance if you're not going to play your bench and go at least 10 deep. You don't have a chance against them. Like, if you think you're going to trot 7 players out against OKC, you're just about to get destroyed. Like, there's just no way around it. But this team right here, I think this boy put up that choke signal too soon. And if he lose game 6, I think that we need to make some choke shirts because I know you into shirts. We need to make the shirt. We need to make the shirt with him on it with the choke signal and say, you choked.
Right.
Because I think that choke signal in game 1 just told me how much he don't pay attention to how the real sport can play out.
Yeah.
You know, but I think we really just need to just keep on what we kind of doing. I like the energy and the vibe they got right now. I think it's really cool to see it. And the fact that these dudes didn't really get to play like that during the season. But I seen it when Brunson went down. When Brunson went down, he was playing 9 every night, sometimes 10. You know, and then when Brunson came back, it was like we almost forgot about these dudes that was fighting and winning every night. But it ain't like they forgot because it seemed like they come in the game, man, and they coming in to kill. I think we got a chance, man. But this is a 1-game series, and that's how I treated it. I watched this game tonight. Like, I just hope y'all don't embarrass yourself and let them win again in the Garden. But it's a 1-game series.
It's a 1-game
you know
series.
What I mean, to me.
All we gotta do is get one, man.
Yeah, it's just one. Like
one.
if you thinking about after we beat them on Saturday, you already lost.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a one.
You know, like you said, this is our championship.
Yep.
This game right here, and anybody who talks about if the Knicks get past them, you already in a losing mindset.
Yeah, we got to get that first quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This
Get
is
the first quarter and take it from there.
Like when you used to talk about your girls is about to play for the championship, this is it.
This is it. Make it make sense.
And if we win it, then we worry about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because every game right now for us is a championship to get to the finals.
No doubt. Make it make sense. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us. You know what I mean? Call in, ladies and gentlemen, 516-362-5212. And you know, I want to hear what you're feeling. Tony, you know what I mean?
Yes,
I know we got a lot of people that's gonna be calling in. You know, any thoughts from, make it make sense from what he was saying? Any thoughts? Because we got Silk. We got Silk on the line.
I mean, I agree with most of what he said. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to him. Shout out to both Carolinas in the building tonight.
Yeah. Who hasn't had a big game that is due for a big game with this team
in this series? I mean, you could go with Macau or OG, but I think at the very least with OG, he's been consistent. It hasn't been great consistency, but it's been consistent. So I would go with Macau. He needs to find I think him having a big game goes a longer way for us. I mean, you can go either way. Either one of them two having a big game goes a long way for us.
Yeah. I think having a big game from either one goes a long way. Silk something on the line, folks. What's popping, man?
What up, Sim? What up, Tony? Damn, Sim. I was about to ask
Peace,
the question, and you just bring it up. My question to
okay.
you is this:
Okay.
Is Deuce hurt? Because it seems like his minutes is getting cut for DeLon Wright and Shaman. I love them too, but in the chat and other podcasts, we was like, why is Deuce minutes getting cut? He hit a three, he playing the defense, and then you don't see him for most of the game. Does he got some kind of hamstring issue
I don't
that the
think
Knicks
so.
ain't talking about? That's why they cutting his minutes these past two games?
He played 18 minutes tonight.
I think you got to sacrifice when new guys are playing more.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know,
Wait, it
yeah.
wasn't like he was playing bad in the first quarter. I mean, when he came in.
Nah,
But then
he's
he
not
went
playing
out
bad.
quick. He went out mad fast. Like he did like 3 or 4 minutes, and then he was going to the
I mean, you
second
know,
half of the game.
you know, sometimes a player is a casualty of the moment. You know what I'm saying? You might be out there with a group that's not playing well. You know what I'm saying? And so the coach is like, okay, we're gonna bring these three guys in or something. You know what I mean? I don't know at what point. I'd have to look at the play-by-play to see at what points he came out and what the score was and those things. But you know, sometimes you're
So
a
you don't think
casualty
it's
of the moment.
injury? You don't think it's some
think
kind
so.
of injury you're going through?
Nah,
You
I
just
don't.
think
I
it's
don't
just
think
a
so.
tip decision?
Yeah, I don't think it's an injury.
Okay.
I mean, the guys with injuries that I'm worried about, you know,
his lesson. He went back to his old school ways in Game 4. We're playing and he didn't play DeLon Wright and Shamet as many minutes as he did in Game 3. He got to see the footprint of this game. They do more than what Bridges does. They fight over a screen.
Yeah.
They up in these dudes' grill. They can't be dribbling past them. And I saw a funny thing. OG was guarding Embert more than Brunson was.
Yeah.
He wasn't really doing passing, but I like, okay, they put an OG on Ember. Is Ember breaking us down? And they making sure OG don't stop him from doing that? Because I saw OG on Ember more than that's normally Brunson's guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the first half of this game, I saw OG guarding him more, cutting off his penetration to the paint.
Right. The only thing
not letting him get in there.
The only thing I'm gonna say to that is this, right? I think even in Game 4, they played the same amount of minutes in the first half. They didn't play the same amount of minutes in the second half, right? When you're talking about Shamet and Wright, you know.
And I agree with that because he's saving the energy for his crew in the second half.
I mean, but the thing is, like they played many more minutes in the second half tonight, but they still. Like they started the third quarter tonight, those guys. I'm sorry, they started the fourth quarter tonight in the second half. And in the first in Game 4, they started the second half. Right? But like I said, sometimes you're a casualty of the moment. In the second half, in Game 4, when they got in the game, the lead, you know, went to 15 and Tibbs panicked. Tonight, it didn't go that way, right? The Knicks had an 11-point lead, or they had a lead going into the fourth quarter, whatever that lead was, and then they extended the lead. You know what I mean? I mean, the Knicks going into the fourth quarter was 92-73, right? So when those guys get out there, you know, it's a little bit more grace. You're like, okay, we got a lead. We got a little bit more grace. You know, so you know, you can say it happened because they played more minutes. Or it could be, you know, I'm not saying that they didn't contribute to the minutes because they did. You know what I'm saying? At the top of the second quarter, the Knicks had a 4-point lead, a 6-point lead. They had a 4-point lead at the top of the second quarter, and that group actually extended it to maybe a 10-point lead. I think that group. Oh, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I'm looking at the play-by-play now. It felt like maybe they extended it to a 10-point lead. That group extended it to at least an 11-point lead, and then at an 11-point lead, Brunson came in for Wright, and it went to a 12-point lead. It went to a 14-point lead. Shamet was still out there on the floor. It was a 14-point lead, and I hate to say it, But Bridges came in for Shamit, and it started to turn. It goes to a 13-point lead, a 12-point lead, 11-point lead, 13, 10-point lead, 7-point lead. You know what I mean? And I'm not blaming Bridges, but I feel like Bridges didn't play as good a defense on Tyrese Halliburton.
He's not. Shamit is fighting through these screens, making them follow.
Yeah.
Pushing them. That's what Bridges should be doing, but Bridges is not doing it.
Yeah.
Shamit is playing more spicier defense
He is.
on these pick and rolls, and that's all.
There's no doubt
and
about
he
it.
had his paces running.
He's playing
Than Bridges is.
much better defense against Halliburton. And I seen it right there in that second quarter. 'Cause I was watching when Bridges came in. I was saying to myself, please don't bring him back in. You know what I'm saying? Just because I feel like he's playing soft. And, you know, immediately Tyrese Halliburton went at him. And, you know, he kicked it out for a three. And it just changed.
Is under the paint with TJ McConnell. McConnell can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Made him get the ball out of bounds. He guarded TJ McConnell in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And kept him out the paint, too.
Yeah.
But I'm still worried about these 17 damn turnovers, though. We can't be having these many turnovers against this team.
It's true.
Our two best guys got 7 by themselves, 4 and 3.
Yeah. They do a good job, you know, tipping the ball out, getting their hands in the passing lane and those things.
One of the good things is a good portion of them turnovers tonight were dead ball turnovers as opposed to, like, you know, leading to open court fast break turnovers.
Yeah.
So like
yeah,
we get to reset our defense. Our defense was on point tonight. So, you know, I would like to see the points off turnovers to see how you know what I mean, how that correlates.
Yeah, I see people saying fresh legs about Shamit and Bridges. I don't think it's fresh legs. Not the defensive side. I think Shamit just is playing. It's just he's playing. Mikal Bridges doesn't play. I don't care if it's the beginning of the game or he doesn't play physical defense.
Aggressive.
He uses his length.
Aggressive.
Right. He uses his length to get his hands in there. He doesn't play physical defense. You know what I mean? Shamit is playing physical defense against Tyrese Halliburton. It's not about the fresh legs. To me, it's about the style of defense that he's playing against him. You know what I'm saying?
And the bodying up on the people.
Bodying up on him. Like I said earlier, getting all up in his guts. You know what I mean? You know?
Like I said, we got. I don't see. Like I said, I can tell my boys we cannot lose to this team back-to-back years on our home court. Whatever happens after this, I can live with it. All this stuff about it's Tibbs' fault, it's Brunson's fault was pissing me off. Come on, our guys got to man up. And finally, and Tibbs finally, Tibbs got me mad last game. Since I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, come on, you so worked in game 3. Why you playing hard? You on your heart candy for almost 40 minutes when DeLon Wright and Chambers with them help you with the defense. I love me hard, but sometimes he's stuck on hard candy because Tibbs is like hustle and rebounding. That's all I need. I don't care about nothing else. Hustle and rebounding. But sometimes you need other guys' attributes besides Hart.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not mad at Hart the way other people are. I know
I know we had. Sometimes Tibbs gets lost with Hart.
Yeah, I know we had 3 turnovers, but I do think he has a presence out there on the floor. You know what I mean?
His positives outweigh his negatives most of the time.
You know, he has a presence with, you know, I mean, he has a presence out there on the floor that you need. You know what I mean? You know, taking him out and letting him get himself together. You know, take him out for a minute, let him get himself together and get him back in. Okay, I can see that. You know what I mean? But, you know, I mean, the Knicks still, you know, despite, you know, I see people say, oh, the lead went to 10 when he came in, and the Knicks won by 17. It was a 16, 17-point lead when Rick Carlisle threw up the flag. You know what I mean? Sean, I'm going to get right back to you. So, said Bridges was good on Halliburton all night. Go back and rewatch the game.
He was.
I think Shamet was better because Halliburton can drive. He's able to drive on Bridges because Bridges doesn't play aggressive. Bridges gives space and uses his arms as a way to fill up that space because he has such long arms, which doesn't bring the physicality to Halliburton because Halliburton's got some long arms too. Right? But Shamet gets into his dribble motion and his feet are a little bit, his feet, he can move his feet too. So Halliburton, I think, has a tougher time, from what I've seen, at least tonight, a tougher time dribbling past Shamet. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't think he has a tough time dribbling past Mikal Bridges. You know, that's just
and
what I see.
Tony, remember that sequence in the second quarter where Shamet was cutting off the pick and roll, and then they kept switching, and then DeLon Wright came to the other guy. Shamet went back to the other guy. You saw a man on a man on a man up in their chest for that whole quarter, and they were trying to get up a shot, and they couldn't do it. And they could not do it.
Yeah.
They was a man and a man and a man and a man because they were up in their chest. They were trying to drive around them. They couldn't do it. Between DeLon Wright, Shamet, even Hart was in there on the second quarter.
Yeah.
I like, that's the defense, because no time in this game they went over 30 points in the quarter.
Right.
That's what we got to keep the team. This team can't be doing 30 and 35 points on us in a quarter. If they doing that, they running their offense, and we getting our behind bus.
Yeah.
We got to keep them at 20 to 25.
Nah, I dig that.
Each quarter.
Yep. Walter White said Bridges makes you take tough shots over him. Halliburton works well in space, not so much if you crowd him. See, I agree with that. Right? He works very well in space, very well in space. And Bridges gives you space because he uses his length. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just matchup. Kevin Bergen thinks that Wright guards Halliburton the best. Okay. We just need Wright to knock down those open threes, man. What'd you say?
They both do, because they got the size and they got the switchability to stay in front of both of them guys.
Yeah. We just need Wright to knock down them open threes when he gets them.
He not killing. That's what we got Shamet for, the sniper.
I mean, but he showed during the season he can knock him down
and make steals and make sure that they got to hit everything from the outside to beat us. I can live with Wright not always hitting the three.
Yeah, I mean, but he showed that he can hit it in the regular season when he got some playing time. He was knocking them down.
Right. But if he doesn't do that, but Shamet does, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Before I go, because I know we coming back at the Garden. I ain't even worried about it. I ain't scared.
Okay.
I
believe we're coming
scared,
back.
But I'm not.
I believe we're coming back too. Trust me, I believe we're coming back.
Let me ask y'all guys the question, because I meant to ask y'all a few times. I normally used to see with Randall and them, the little mix stuff before the playoffs, the video highlight films. Is YouTube actually stopping that from being done? Because I don't see that no more.
Say that again?
You know the little Knicks highlights about the playoffs and the videos that used to come out with Randall, we here, and all that stuff, those videos? But I don't see them no more. Has actually YouTube stopped people from doing that highlight kind of Knicks mix stuff?
No, I mean, there's certain parameters. You know what I mean? You got, if you're gonna have highlights up, you got to be talking about the game. They really want you to be talking about that highlight and what's going on. You know what I mean?
I think he was talking about the Knicks actually doing it themselves.
You talking about the Knicks doing it?
Well, other people are doing like the mixed highlights of before the the playoffs, like the Randall, we here. Those kind of videos with Carmelo Anthony, I could see them back in the day. Well, lately, I don't see them no more.
Yeah, I don't think YouTube is doing anything different. So maybe it's just.
So you don't think they making no money off of it, so they just stopped doing it?
Maybe I
they may focus their attention to watch parties.
Yeah, and the watch parties is cooking, boy. The watch parties are cooking. The watch parties.
I hear you. So. Like I said, brothers, don't worry about Saturday. I'll see y'all on Monday. I ain't gonna call you on Saturday because I know we got Saturday. I'll see you on Monday.
I believe we win in Saturday too.
Because I didn't call you on the last game because all turnovers. I wasn't gonna be you might have to bleep me through the whole show. So I said, let me not call. Let me just stay away.
All right, no doubt. All right, so
all right, fellas.
All right, peace. Yeah. Knicks fans feeling good tonight. 111-94. The Knicks beat the Indiana Pacers by 17. Do you think the Pacers feel any doubt right now, Tony?
I think they feel some desperation that they necessarily didn't feel yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely feel some desperation. You know what I mean? Yeah. And one of the other conversations we talked about last night, the Pacers were in the position we're in last year, and won this series, right? So not only do they know it could be done, you know what I mean? I'm sure, regardless of what anybody says, they know those injuries played a part, right? And we are a better team this year. So yeah.
And let me get to a super chat. Trey, my man Trey, said Knicks haven't lost back-to-back road games all playoffs. We're due for another dub in Indy. Great job by the team. They better knock us out in 6 and else. They're not knocking us out in 6. So I believe we're winning. I'm going to ask the caller before I can get you on live. Can you turn that down in the back? Because, my man, on Dios. Hopefully I said it right. You gotta let me know. Says, sham it. Damn it. Knicks in 7. 1 game at a time. Believe Knicks Nation. Thank you for the super chat. Caller, you're live, man. What's popping with you?
Yo, Sim, what up, bro? It's Rob from Twitter, man.
Hey, what's happening with you, brother? Yeah, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I caught the back end. Tone, what up, bro? I caught the back end of the last caller, what he was saying, bro. And to jump on what he was saying, and I kind of agree with you as well. I think Josh needs less minutes. I'm not saying take all his minutes away, but he's. I hear you with the presence and all that, Sim, but he's been bad this series. This just isn't his series. He hasn't been bad during the playoffs. He's just been bad this series. Okay. I don't think this is the series for him. He need to be playing 25 to possibly 30 minutes a game, man. It's even last game, game 4. Every time we took the lead, we try to add on to it, turnover. Mm-hmm. He gave up 10 points on backdoor cuts. It's in the playoffs, as you know, Sim, you're an OG. You've been watching playoffs for a long time. Every possession matters, man. This is not the regular season.
Right.
Those regular season games where you're giving 6 points off the backdoor cuts, can't do it. Can't do it in the playoffs, man. And he's just.
I feel you.
I know Tibbs is living and dying with him, man. But right now we're dying with him, bro. He's bad minutes. He's bad minutes right now for as much as he's playing. He needs to be playing 25, possibly 30. What you got to say about that?
I don't mind him playing 25 to 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Josh Hart is he wears number 3. He's like John Starks.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He can be unpredictable. He's going to give you something, but he can be unpredictable. He can do some boneheaded things out there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Some boneheaded turnovers, boneheaded
It's not
passes.
just he made a mistake, get him out the game. That's not how I'm coming at it. It's been this whole series.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? And that's where I'm like, Tibbs, and you know me, going on from years. I've been a fan of your show for years. I've never been a Tibbs guy, man. And I hope you guys are starting to see it where let him tell it. We don't have a bench. Everybody seems to think we don't have a bench. There's nobody on the bench to play. We don't got any guys. There's plenty of guys on the bench. Vets. Guys who's been in playoff games. Shamit went to the finals with Phoenix. Went to the conference finals with or at least the semis with the Clippers. Wright has experience. Precious he be doing some bozo stuff too. But I think Precious is a good matchup for Siakam.
Mm-hmm.
I like that matchup when I see them, man, because OG can't do nothing with him. Mikhail can't do nothing with him.
Let me ask you this. Right? Let's say Shaman and Wright were playing. Well, Wright just came like halfway through the season, but let's just say they were playing all season, right? You don't think Carlisle might have had a better grip on how to coach against them, and maybe they would, and maybe they wouldn't be as effective as they are now?
I mean, it's how you deploy your weapons. Carlisle's a better coach than Tibbs, so I'm sure he would have you've seen more film. It's what you've seen on film. So I guess there's an advantage to not playing them until now, if you want to look at it that way, but there's a clear disadvantage where we've lost games because of it. Game one, I'm just throwing that away. Even though I put the blame on mainly the players, because players got to play, I put some blame on Tibbs too. I've had a theory that a lot of people kind of don't agree with, where it's, I don't believe, we're better without Jalen Brunson. I don't believe that stupid stuff that's going around social media. But game one, when he got his 5th foul and he went to the bench, that's when we had the lead and we pushed the lead up. I believe you just closed the hot. You close with who's hot.
Yeah,
I believe we win that game if they just play who was on the court.
No, I agree 100%. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He should. There was no reason. You know, the team was playing well. You know, there was no reason. I think it did, you know, mess up the flow of the game. Now they still had
defense was the staple.
Yeah, and they still had a 14-point lead with 2 minutes and 30-something seconds left. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
they were trending.
And that's why I put the blame on the players there. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but they were trending in another direction at that point as well. But yeah, you got to put the players. You know, and the crazy thing is, if the Knicks pull that, let's say when Halliburton shoots the ball, it goes off the back of the rim and goes away, right? Even though the Knicks gave up, you know, gave up the lead, it's 3-2 right now, and this series looks totally different.
Exactly. That's why I say throw that one away. Game two, I just don't think Tibbs has done a good job. And I've always said this. I think we win in spite of him, not because of him. I think we're at a deficit because of him. Like, let me ask you this. You think if we have Carlisle, what happens then? Do you think we're a better team with Carlisle or with Tibbs?
I think if we have Carlisle, we don't have this team.
So explain that to me. What do you mean?
I think if we have Carlisle, he might want different players.
I'll take it a step further.
You know what I'm saying?
Do we have?
Go ahead, Tone.
I just want to say, I'll take it a step further. Do we have Carlisle with this team with 2 years experience like he has with Indiana? Or do we have Carlisle with 1 year experience?
1 year experience with this team.
Like Tibbs has.
Okay, so I definitely understand what you're saying. I guess the point that I was trying to make is, who do you believe is the better coach?
Oh, I believe,
guess is all I would.
No. I definitely believe Rick Carlisle is the better tactician.
Yes.
He's definitely
in
a
the
better
playoffs,
tactician.
man. That's kind of when you win in the margins in the playoffs, and that's a big margin. That's a big margin right there.
It is.
Coaching. One thing I thought about is all the playoff series that we lost with Tibbs over the years.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and look, the team was favored. We were favored in those series. Every single one that we lost, we were favored. So what does that say? That says people thought that our team were better. So why did we lose?
But I think today.
Mm-hmm.
I think seeding has to, and what people. I think you got to throw the seeding out the window today.
Yeah, I agree.
Because with so many players taking games off and so many things happen, I think the real creams of the crop kind of rise in the playoffs. That being said, you know what I'm saying? Rick Carlisle is a better coach, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or a better tactician. You know, definitely a better tactician. That being said, if you close game 3, even though Rick Carlisle is a better tactician, the Knicks could be up 3-2.
I agree.
I mean, I'm sorry if you close game 1. If you close game 1, right? They could be up 3-2.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? But so it's
you know what you're talking about.
tough.
You and Tone, but that's where I'm saying, why don't we close? Obviously, there's blame to go to everybody, players especially. But you just said, you admitted, you believe we probably closed if we kept the the unit that was out there. We let Brunson on the bench, right? Why?
Yeah.
Okay, you could tell he learned from that mistake because that's what he did in Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
He kept the unit on the bench. On the court until he realized, all right, man, now we're struggling. We need a bucket here. And then Brunson comes in and hits a clutch floater and a couple of free throws. You can tell he realized he made a mistake Game 1. We win that game if he trusts his team. Fair?
Yeah. I'm gonna say the percentages are we win that game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
percentages are
But
we win that
overall,
game.
though, to button this up, great game. I'm excited. I don't believe we're gonna lose on the road. We're a better road team.
Mm-hmm.
And if and when this gets back to the Garden, it's gonna be. I genuinely believe it's gonna be a repeat of Game 6 versus the Celtics. If this gets back to a Game 7 Sim and Tone, it's over with.
It's over.
I'm putting money down.
Over.
We win it by 30.
Yeah, it's over. If it gets to a Game 7 in the Garden, it's over. I can't see them beating this Game 7 in the Garden. I'm sorry. I can't see it. I can't see it.
Absolutely, man. But have a good night. I'm gonna continue to tune in on the
Appreciate
the
you,
YouTube,
man.
Sim. It's been a pleasure hearing you. I haven't heard from you in a long time, man. But I still keep in touch. I still follow. I still see what you got going on, man. I'm happy
Appreciate
with
you, man.
you and Tone got going on, man. Shout out to NBK fam. I'll be tuning in.
Sir. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling in. Great to hear from you.
All right, brother.
Peace. No doubt, man. Rick Carlisle is a great coach. There's no doubt about it, man. That dude can coach his ass off. You know what I mean? He's a great tactician, able to adjust mid-game. You know what I mean? He wasn't able to do it tonight. You know what I mean? Or whatever his adjustments were tonight didn't work. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you think Rick Carlisle is out of adjustments?
I'll say this for sure, Sim. Tonight was the first game that it felt like he was grasping for sure.
Yeah.
He was trying to find things that he didn't necessarily try before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is a good sign in our favor.
Mm-hmm. And
so
if the Knicks would have closed Game 1 and they were up 3-2 now, regardless, Rick Carlisle is a better tactician without a doubt. But would people be like, oh my gosh, Rick Carlisle is this better coach? Or, even though the Knicks were up 3-2, if that were the case right now.
Well,
if the Knicks win this series.
I think ultimately what makes him the better coach, when you can't argue it, is the accolades of winning the championship.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Like, let's see what happens. You know, if when we advance, you know what I mean? Now he has Tibbs has something to brag about, to talk about, because he definitely got outcoached in the first 3 games or the first 2 games. You know what I mean? Say it again.
I guess you can say the first game. It's hard for me to say.
I wouldn't even. Yeah, it's hard to say the first game. But even if you want to call it a even thing, because you know what I mean, they got the victory. We played 3 better quarters. He didn't make adjustments. He left Nimhard in. You know what I mean? He kept going to him. Like, so you gotta give him his credit for what he did to win the game as a coach.
I mean, I feel like
I feel you.
The thing with me, I feel like that Game 1 win by the Pacers was a win by the players. Not that Rick Carlisle did anything wrong. They was just getting beat all game. It was a win by the Pacers players and a loss by the Knicks players. That's how I feel, right?
Okay.
Because what if Naismith didn't get hot?
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I was just giving it to him because they won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a fair analysis.
Because if he didn't get hot, you know what I mean, and he might have still left them out there because maybe that's the lineup he likes to close with, or feels works against his team. And if he didn't get hot, he might have been like, oh, okay, well, we got to make adjustments for Game 2.
And here's why I'll give you. You're right, because it's Game 1 anyway, right? So it's not like he really does the coaching when you get to watch film and see how to adjust and see what you think might work and see what worked and things of that nature. But yeah, my point was we beat them and coming back from this deficit, and you know what I mean, like that closes the gap. That's all I was saying.
Oh, yeah, right. We close the gap and win. You know what I mean? That we win the series, that closes the gap on any coach talk because I mean you're gonna have people that say the players made it to the championship despite the coach, but I think that's dumb. You don't make it this far without a coach that can help you get that far. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Somebody has to help you coach you to help you get there. So that's just craziness. Like Tibbs or not like Tibbs, that's just craziness to me. Nick from Jersey, what's popping, bro?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing tonight?
Good, man. Feeling good. Ready to go get Game 6.
Peace,
take it home.
Four quarters down, 8 to go.
Yes, sir.
Quarter by quarter.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to look backwards, but I think this series proved that there are things about this team. Since you guys are talking about Tibbs, I'm the biggest Tibbs supporter there is, but I really do feel like they're not playing, they're not matching up the lineups the way they should.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this series is showing that the Knicks have some structural flaws with the way they're putting the units out there that, they're not willing to change, or they're changing it, but not for enough time. And I mean, Carlisle, I think, has definitely outcoached Tibbs this series, even with the Game 1 fluke. I thought Game 2 was the real letdown because the Knicks had that game, and I thought they gave that game away as well in the fourth quarter with some poor decisions, but from Tibbs and from Brunson. And it's water under the bridge at this point, but they just got to keep looking forward. And one thing they did that they adjusted tonight, I saw it on Twitter, was that they were in the first 4 games, they were picking up Halliburton, around 40 feet from the basket. Tonight, they started picking them up around 50 feet from the basket.
Yeah.
They were being a little bit more physical with them. And I thought that really affected his game. And they got to do that. And they got to have another big Brunson game. Brunson hasn't been great this series, other than tonight.
Right.
And they also need Mitchell Robinson to do his usual thing because he wasn't doing it. He didn't do it in Indiana. He had 2 great games in Games 1 and Games 2 was probably the greatest game of Mitchell Robinson this playoffs. Game 2 in New York, even though it was a loss. Then they took him out and they lost that game. I thought he should have been on the court at the end of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put him in the starting lineup, and he was kind of absent in Game 3, and he was absent again in Game 4. They need him to have a huge game in Game 6. They need Bridges and Shamet and Deuce to play good defense on Halliburton in Game 6. And they need Brunson and Towns to do what they do offensively.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Nick. How much do you think this is only Tibbs' second time in the Eastern Conference Finals? Right? There's a lot of talk just about mistakes that he's made. He's been able to, help obviously, make some adjustments to help the team win. But how much do you think just the pressure of being in the Eastern Conference Finals, after all of these years, plays into it? The experience of being there. The more you're there, the easier it is to coach, or the easier it is to play, right? Because you're used to it now. How much do you think it's just some pressure?
I don't know. I don't think it's like that with Tibbs. I think he's pretty, even keel, steady. He's looking at every possession equally. That's one of the knocks on him is that he treats games in November the same way he does Game 7 in the playoffs.
Right.
But I don't think it's so much that. But I did remember there was a point in Game 2 where the Knicks were only down like 5 with maybe 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left, and I remember thinking this game's not going to go the way. They're not going to win this game because Carlisle was waiting until that moment to do. I can't really recall exactly what it was, but it was at that moment when Towns went to the bench because he couldn't defend, and then he pulled the hack and Mitch, and I was like, okay,
right.
He got like it was like a jujitsu move. You know what I mean? Like he lulled the Knicks into his tactical trap.
Yep.
And I'm thinking like, damn. And then Tibbs didn't call the timeout when we're down 3 with 15 seconds left to play. I just thought things like that were really disappointing. And I was like, really, they got game 3, even game 4. I mean, game 4 was right there for the taking as well. You know, if the refs didn't call like 5 fouls in 5 seconds on the Knicks, all of which were dubious, maybe it ends differently. But you know, like you were saying, it comes down to the margins, those 2 or 3 possessions per game. And that's where coaching really matters. And I think Carlisle is definitely having the better series, even though we could be up 3-2 right now. It is what it is, but we could still win the series. Tibbs is not a bad coach. He's a great coach. But yeah, I just think that the use of Hart and Towns and Bridges, the way those 3 guys are thrown into the rotations has to be rethought over this summer if we're going to keep this core together to really maximize the way this team could play.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I definitely agree with you. Go
ahead.
And I think Tibbs will look at it. Like I see Tibbs as being just like a real creature of habit, right? And once he gets his, he's not going to do a whole lot of adjusting during the season, right? I think he has his moments. First 20 games, let me see what's going on. Oh, I need to make an adjustment to the lineup. I'm going to make an adjustment to the lineup. But I feel like he's more comfortable when he has something that's stable. I got my lineup. This is what I'm rocking with. I just believe that he feels the players are more comfortable that way. And he feels that changes disrupt. If you're winning, disrupt what you're building. So when training camp, I think over the summer, like you said, he'll look at it, see, okay, maybe I need to give more minutes to this guy and do this. Maybe the lineup needs to look this way. You know what I'm saying? And then he'll do it, and then that's what he'll go with, right? And he'll make changes when he feels it's like absolutely necessary to make changes. So I do think he'll look at it over the summer, look at everything in its entirety, and then and I think he might, look. He's gonna look at these lineups now with Mitch starting with Cat, and say, okay, now okay, I can see we get something off the bench with Josh. Maybe he needs some less minutes. I think he'll look at all of that and make some adjustments.
And Sim, right. even when he makes those adjustments in the playoffs, those lineup adjustments, we've seen them periodically over the years. It's always at a crucial moment when we're down in the series.
Right.
It won't be before then.
Right.
And to the point that I made earlier of us starting the season with Mitch out, Shamit out, Precious out, it put everything behind the ball. So I knew it was going to be a long time before Tibbs even got to see what he envisioned from the beginning because of those things. And then he's not going to make those changes immediately as guys get healthy. So again, I think the Mitch thing, that's something he would have wanted to do from the beginning.
Yeah.
But Mitch not being available, and that's why that's the first adjustment he makes, even though he doesn't do it until you know what I mean, a crucial moment.
Yeah.
He's not averse to making adjustments. It's just that when you get into this thing where you're reacting, when your adjustments are reactive to the other coaches' adjustments, that's when I'm not feeling confident with the team. When you could see Tibbs doing something out of his comfort zone from a position of weakness, that's when I think, oh boy. When he's doing it from a position of strength, it's like, yeah, good, do that. Throw them a curveball. Throw them a curveball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always, sometimes it seems like he's doing it, and it's like, okay, it's like a chess move. Like he made his move, now Carlisle was waiting for that.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Nick,
but
always.
Hey, we're gonna win Game 6. Take care, guys.
We're gonna win, no doubt. We're going to get Game 6. I see. Let me see. What did I want to highlight? Fred, you said that's what the regular season is for. You have 82 games to figure it out. But see, that's your philosophy. somebody else's philosophy might be like, I got 35 games to get my lineup and my rotations and stuff straight. Now, for the remainder of these games, we're getting tuned for the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Some coaches want as much time as possible to have their roster, to have their group together, know what my rotations are, know what these things are, so that they can be playing at their peak for the playoffs.
Just to double down, you only have 82 games for that if guys are available for 82 games.
Right.
So once guys are not available, that pushes things back.
Yeah.
And then if a guy misses the first 20 games and you're evaluating the first 20 games and you're doing well, you're not going to make the adjustment after 20 games because this guy is just not available.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and then 20 games late after that, another guy becomes available.
Yeah.
And then, 20 games after that. So everything gets pushed back in that sense. If he started from scratch, fresh, he would have had the 82 games to kind of figure these things out.
And then when let's say you've had a group for 2 years, 3 years, you know what your rotations are. Now, this makes it easier for you to experiment, like, because you first might be, let me get my base together. I need to know who my best 9 guys are, right? Now, when you have that and you coming into the next year, you're like, okay, I got my base together. Now, let me see if I got something out here that can do this and do that, do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Some coaches will experiment all year. And that's their philosophy. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with either way, in my opinion. Some coaches will experiment all year. I don't think when you have a coach, you got to let them coach the way that they coach. It's like, okay, Josh was having the conversation. We were having a conversation about Karl Anthony Towns, right? And in his opinion, he said, you don't ask Karl Anthony Towns to go down low because he's not good at going down low, right? So you don't ask him to do more of that. Let's ask him to do more of what he does well, right? And I understand that philosophy. I just believed that Karl Anthony Towns can do more down low than what Josh was figuring that he can do, right? That's what my argument was. I think it's the same way with the coach. A coach is going to have his style and his way, right, and his philosophy. And when you're a front office, you go and you get a coach and you say, okay, I know what your style, I know what your philosophy is. We're going to get you the players that fit your philosophy, and we're going to let you coach. We're going to let you do it. I'm not going to ask you to do something that maybe you can't do, or maybe this is not your strong point. Maybe I'll ask you, can you do this? I'll ask you, do you feel comfortable doing this, that, and the third? You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, you let that coach do what that coach does, and then you grade him on the results.
And just like the players have to buy in. So you can bring in the guy with the skill set. If you don't buy in, it ain't gonna work. You can bring in a guy that might not be his strength, but if he buys in, it's gonna work a little bit better than it normally would. But my point is, the coach the players got to buy in, the front office got to buy in. You know what I mean? And allow him to play the way he wants or coach the way he wants. So it's really about buying in and believing in. And I think for me as a fan, I gotta buy in. I don't agree with everything Tibbs does. I try to understand what he does, and then you know what I mean, and see if it works. For the most part, it works.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And you know, we keep making strides. That's my barometer. We keep making strides. We keep getting better. For me, when the team plateaus, that's when you entertain making a change. That's just my thought process. You know what I mean? When the team plateaus. And obviously, when the Eastern Conference Finals, we're going to have a chance to win on Saturday and bring it to Game 7 of an Eastern Conference Finals. If that's not constant elevation, if that's not constantly getting better, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? On the line, Corey from Rochester. What's going on, brother?
Yo, my guys, Sim,
How you
Tone,
feeling, man? How you
what up
feeling?
with y'all?
What up, family?
We good, baby. We good. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like you said last night, Sim. Having confidence is very key, man. Because I remember last time when you talked last night about that lost Game 4, you were very confident and right, saying that Knicks going to win Game 5. But the way they came out tonight, wire to wire, and then even let Pacers lead in that game, that's got to be a big confidence boost to them going in Game 6, because not saying that they're going to dominate the Pacers in Game 6 like wire to wire, back to back wins. Now, I mean, I think Game 6 is going to still be fun, but I hope it be like a kind of a good back to back, like a fight for fight type of game, like
Right.
down to the wire.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those type of games. It's no doubt about it, because the Knicks are going to be battling for their lives, and the Pacers don't want to come back to New York, so they're going to be battling for their lives too. It's going to be a battle. That's going to be a battle. Just like Sean is saying, the Knicks are 2 games away. The Pacers are 1 game away from the NBA Finals. Let's see what happens. Get your popcorn ready. Yep, because it's going to be a battle. It's going to be some fireworks in that game.
And that's what we want. We want it to be a battle.
Yeah.
And I can respect a game that's a battle, because I know both teams are going to play their hearts out.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah. And this is where the Pacers could get into a little something, because this type of a game tends to become more physical, become more aggressive, slow down a bit. Rick Carlisle is going to want the Pacers to run. But this type of a game tends to just be more physical, more aggressive. The refs letting more things go. And that's going to favor the Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you 100%.
If they set the tone.
If they set the tone, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you look at OG stats tonight?
Mm-hmm.
I looked at his stats, and I know OG was trying to go off, but 3 for 14, that's not going to cut it, bro. And I'm not saying he's not trying to play better, but on the road, he's really going to have to shoot the ball better to really, really, really get us over that hump to force a Game 7, because 3 for 14, I got to say, you got lucky with that performance, but you can't expect to do it in Indiana and expect to win again. And I know OG does have a good offensive game, but I'm pretty sure he'll know what to do to correct the, his game, to try to come out more aggressive for Game 6.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope so. I think so. You know what I mean? But OG is battling, you know what I mean? He's still coming up with some key plays for us.
Oh, yeah. But you know what I'm feeling much better of a little bit in this series?
Who?
I'm glad they're not letting, not just Tyler, but I'm glad they're checking Neesmith more, because that dude is a killer. And I'm glad tonight they kept him in check.
Yeah.
Not letting him go off on them threes he did in Game 1.
He had a couple of open threes that he missed, though.
Huh?
He had a couple of open threes that he missed, though.
But see, that was their Knicks' only hope, was that he missed. And, and it played into their favor. And the other guy, what's that guy's number 2? Nember?
Yeah, Nember.
For Pacers?
Mm-hmm.
Nember? Yeah. I'm surprised that he wasn't playing with no killer instinct this series like he did last year, because it's just, for some reason, I mean, he hasn't been that, like that shooter that I saw when he hit a dagger to, to help the Pacers come back and win that series, like it was Game 3 last year when the Knicks were up 2-0.
Yeah.
And they got Miles Turner in foul trouble, which I think was real key. Thanks to Brunson or whoever he was going against to get Miles Turner into foul trouble. And they did a good job of stopping Tyler Hurburn, in which he had 8 points which was really a bummer.
Right.
But hopefully they don't. Hopefully, if they could do that to not let him go off in the end like he did in Game 4, that could really, really hinder the Pacers' chance.
Yeah.
But I'm just keeping it real about hopefully what the Knicks got to do.
Yeah, man. We gotta take it quarter by quarter, and go out. Take it quarter by quarter.
Facts.
Quarter by quarter. You know what I mean?
So Tony, you finally got your break to watch the whole game.
Yes,
How
sir.
you gonna
Got
feel
two
good?
more.
2 more?
I picked up a shift Saturday, but it's early. I'll be home way before 8. So, yep. I'm catching the next one. I'm off Monday. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so
you got your
got
shifts the way you need to. Well, I got to be at work DJing Saturday at 6, but I can still watch the game. But most likely, I will keep my eye on the score at the same time. But I don't know if that's good luck or bad luck. But maybe that's just my way. I don't miss no plays of the game.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I try to watch the game myself, I be having to keep the music rolling. Then people be calling me, do stuff and that. So maybe that's why I keep my score on for a reason, so I don't miss no play.
Right.
I
feel you.
All
right,
still
Corey.
A big game though.
It's huge, man. This the big. I mean, this the biggest game in the last 25 years. So.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Biggest game in the last 25 years.
Mm-hmm. So any kind of suggestions, like, say if the Knicks do pull out a good close one, do y'all want to give out like any scores predictions for that time, or y'all just gonna wait until it weighs itself out?
What you mean?
Like, say like if when Saturday come, if y'all do your pre-games or whatever, do y'all want to give out any score predictions like before that game starts that night, or y'all just gonna just enjoy this tonight?
I mean, my prediction is that the Knicks are gonna win. I feel like we win in Game 6.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like.
What about you, Tone?
Low scoring game favors us. You know what I mean? Keep them under 100. Keep them in the low hundreds. We could win. That's what we do.
I'm feeling that. Because, like you said, Pacers don't play that well. Like, if we keep them slow and then we get 100 points and then we keep them under 100, like you said, that's the big advantage. So we got to think about if we could do that in Indiana. Oh man, I'll probably having a happy heart attack than having a sad end of season heart attack. But that's not what I want. I want another good relief.
Don't have no heart attacks. No heart attacks, bro. No heart attacks. Let's not have any heart attacks. Can we do that?
Please.
No
brother.
heart attacks,
Please.
Man. We need you living, brother. No heart attacks.
I'm just kidding.
No heart attacks.
I'm just kidding. I'm just talking silly. That's all.
Yeah. We don't need any of those, man. Any of those.
Nah.
All right,
it ain't
Corey,
gonna be none of that.
I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate your time, bro.
You already know.
No doubt.
Love y'all, bro.
Peace, brother. Peace. Yeah, no heart attacks, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna head off, but be ready for the Losers Lounge. Okay, jumping on the losers. Gotta do a Losers Lounge tonight. You know what I mean? So be ready for that Losers Lounge in about 15 minutes or so. We're gonna go ahead and get that thing set up. Be easy. If you're not joining us, you should join us on the Losers Lounge. You should be joining us on the Losers Lounge. But if you don't join us on the Losers Lounge, then we'll catch you on Saturday for sure.
Jordan, we're waiting for you.
Man, Jordan ain't showing up, man. Jordan is not showing up. Jordan said, nah, I think Jordan knows. I think he knows. He's scared. I think he knows. Jordan knows. He's scared right now. He's worried. Well, yeah, Jordan, he's probably listening Just ain't saying nothing. He said, I ain't going in the chat tonight. I can't do it. Jordan knows. Ladies and gentlemen, catch you over on the Lucis Lounge. All right? Be peaceful. One.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.